We've got some breaking news to get to, an exclusive out of our Pentagon team, because apparently there is a suspected Chinese spy balloon that's been hovering over the northern U.S., according to 3 officials familiar with this. A spokesperson for the Pentagon calls it a high-altitude surveillance balloon, saying they're monitoring it closely. Courtney Kube has been on this. And Court, so Montana, parts of Alaska, Canada, and potentially over some U.S. military sites. Do I have that right?
Yeah, so it was last spotted that we know of about around Billings, Montana. That's a couple hundred miles from Malmstrom Air Force Base, which critically is where the U.S. keeps some of their ICBMs, their Minuteman III ICBMs. That being said, as far as we know, it was not over that base. U.S. officials were still extremely concerned, so concerned, Hallie, that yesterday, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, while traveling in the Philippines, convened a meeting of his senior leaders in the middle of the night his time, including Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, General Mark Milley, other DOD leaders, the head of Northcom NORAD, who was here in D.C. at the time, convened them to discuss this. They looked at the track of this balloon, where it had been, where they believed it was going, and then they assessed its ability to actually gather any intelligence. They looked at options, including taking it down out of the sky. Ultimately, they came to the decision, to the agreement that if they were to shoot this thing out of the sky, it would create a debris field that would put people and assets on the ground in Montana potentially at risk. But it got to the point they were so serious about this potential that when there was a window while this balloon was over Montana, they actually scrambled U.S. fighters, including F-22s, with the potential that they could take this thing out. They presented these options to President Biden. He concurred. Ultimately, they didn't shoot this surveillance balloon down, but they are taking action on the ground. A U.S. senior defense official said that if this balloon continues to fly and it goes near any sensitive places, they keep open the option to shoot it down, and they'll move things around on the ground to make sure that it can't actually gather any important information, Hallie.
This is incredible reporting, Court, and as you say, it is significant for a lot of the reasons that you've laid out. It also feels like now that it is now that we know about it, there is a major, not just military component here, but like a geopolitical diplomatic component, right? Like you would think that the administration would be wanting to presumably send a warning to China that says, absolutely cut this out.
So all we know about that so far is that the U.S. has communicated with China, both here in D.C. and in Beijing, that they're aware of this balloon and they have sent some sort of a message. But I spoke with a senior defense official who declined to say exactly what that message was or whether the Chinese acknowledged that this was their balloon. All that we know so far is the U.S., the Pentagon, is confident that this does belong to the People's Republic of China.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.